Good evening, and welcome to a special candidates forum featuring candidates for Sacramento's special election this April 7th to fill City Council District 6. I am Tricia Erhammer, a member of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County, and it is my pleasure to be moderator of today's forum. This forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. The forum is being viewed live by an audience here in the Sacramento Board of Supervisors chambers and by a live cable television audience at home. It is also being taped for rebroadcast on Metro Cable Channel 14. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization of both men and women established to promote political responsibility through informed, active participation in government. The League does not support, oppose, or evaluate political candidates or parties. Although our nonpartisanship policy does not permit endorsement of political candidates, we do, after very careful study, take positions on political issues. The format for today's forum will be as follows. Each candidate will make a 2-minute opening statement. Next, the candidates will have 1 minute each to respond to each question. Finally, the candidates will have a 2-minute closing statement opportunity. In the interest of time and decorum, I ask the audience here in the chambers to hold all applause until the end of this forum. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the candidates running for this special election for Sacramento City Council District 6. Seated to my right is Eric Guerra, and to my left, Bruce Palmer. Welcome to tonight's forum. And now we're ready to begin. And the first opening statement will go to Eric Guerra.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Good evening. I'm Eric Guerra, and I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to earn your vote. Sacramento did a lot for me and my family. It gave us a chance at an education, a good job, the ability to become a homeowner, and to live in a good neighborhood and enter the middle class. See, we grew up across the Sacramento River as migrant farm workers, and we lived in dilapidated housing, and we worked in the fields to make ends meet. So I truly cherish the opportunity to live in a good neighborhood here in Sacramento. That's why, as president of the Neighborhood Association, I fought for our neighborhoods to make sure that we maintain our pools and our schools open. I want to use my leadership and experience as the senior member and chair of the County Planning Commission to protect neighborhoods and fight for Sacramento that's got a vibrant and economic stability for our city. I know firsthand, as a former trustee for the California State University, that our city needs to be an active partner with our schools for the betterment of our youth, and that's why I'm supported by 6 of the 7 school board members, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Los Rios College Federation of Teachers. You know, Sacramento is a great place, and I want to focus on making sure that we put all the resources to improve the neighborhood services so that everyone has a good quality of life. I want to focus on job growth and making sure that we support our small businesses. Every community should feel safe, and that's why I want to ensure that we have public investment in public safety and reduce response times. I'm very privileged to be here in this opportunity, and I have the passion and energy and experience to work hard for all of the different diverse needs in District 6. I'm proud to be endorsed by Supervisor Phil Cerna, the Sierra Club, the Sacramento Bee, the Sacramento News and Review, and community leaders from District 6 and throughout the city. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Eric. And Bruce Palmer.
I want to thank the Cable Commission and the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to address you today. My wife, Ann, and I have lived in the Sierra Oaks Campus Commons neighborhood for 40 years. Raising our children, being involved in youth sports, neighborhood watch, and beginning the neighborhood association. I spent 20 years as an elected representative to the Los Rios Community College Board of Trustees, providing educational opportunity to the citizens of our community. I spent 5 years on the Parks and Recreation Committee, working to maintain our parks and to keep our pools and community centers open. I had a 40-year career in public health, just retiring as executive director of the Health Officers Association of California. I want to have a set of priorities that deals with fiscal responsibility, borrowing less and saving more. I want to return the focus of our city council to the neighborhoods, bringing back problem-oriented policing, maintaining our parks, infrastructure, and providing adequate public transportation. I'm proud. I want to be involved with bringing good jobs and investment to this community and good job training. I'm proud to have the endorsements of Assembly Member Kevin McCarty, Darrell Steinberg, and Dave Jones, Assurance Commissioner, who all served this City Council district.
Thank you. And now we'll move to the question and answer portion of today's forum. Gentlemen, Sacramento faces an unprecedented need for affordable housing. District 6 is no exception and may lack adequate housing that is affordable to all residents. Please comment on the city's mixed income housing ordinance and whether you think it is sufficient and what modifications you believe should be considered, if any. And I first would like Bruce Palmer to answer this question.
Well, I think affordable housing is extremely important. It's extremely important to the vitality of the community and to maintaining individuals' standards of living. I think that we can always improve the policy we have and make it more responsible to provide more opportunities for individuals to have decent housing. I know there'll be community discussion about the revision of the ordinance, and I think that's very important at this point, that we look at it in relationship to where we are right now. And I think it's very important that we look for new sources of funding. I know there's an attempt at the state level to increase tax credits, and that would really help our supply.
Thank you. Eric?
Thank you. This is an area that's very critical to our family. I mean, we lived in some subpar housing, and we know firsthand what it's like to not have shelter or stability in shelter. And because of that, I've shown already active leadership as chair of the County Planning Commission to approve and support affordable housing projects. At the city level, we need to make sure that our ordinance looks at the end goal, which is how do we get the most affordable housing units. We not only have the top affordable housing requirement, but extremely low income affordable housing that we have to meet. To me, the ordinance has to have the end in mind, and that's how do we increase the largest number of units, and also looking at how do we increase the need today. So those are the two big questions that we have. And to me, it's going to be about ensuring that we address the gap funding, and I'm currently involved in the statewide tax credit program as well to make sure that that passes for this affordable housing in Sacramento.
Thank you. Moving on, the city's general plan encourages infill and compact transit-oriented development. How do you see these principles incorporated into District 6 with regards to road and transit improvements, pedestrian and bicycle improvements, and/or land use improvements? And Eric, I'd like you to answer this first.
Great, thank you. This is something I've been working on since I was a college student, pushing the city to look at walkability, rideability on the 65th Street corridor in District 6. Then we were pushing to create a redevelopment zone. And we did make some progress. And as a former member of that redevelopment advisory committee, we got bike lane improvements and in District 6. But there's a lot more work to do. As a member of the neighborhood association, we are doing a study now on walkability to find problem areas. I've been active in this issue area of increasing bikeability and walkability, not only on the Planning Commission level, but on the neighborhood level to make sure that we have access. There's only one limited bus line that goes down District 6. We need to look at better options in the long run for the diverse area of District 6. I'm proud to have an experience that I can get to the City Council with hitting the ground running to improve walkability, rideability, and public transportation.
Thank you. Bruce?
I'm a frequent user of public transit, so I understand from a first-hand basis what it's like to travel on our buses and be on our light rail system. And it's very clear to me that access to light rail and bus transportation in many areas of our district is not very adequate, and we need to do something to improve that, because adequate transportation relates to individuals' ability to gain access to education and to jobs. I think having an experience in walking throughout this community, I've found that there are a lot of areas unsafe, and it's extremely critical that we consider personal safety and adequate bike and walking paths so we can connect with our transit-oriented development.
Thank you. This week is Sunshine Week in California. Sunshine Week is a national initiative to promote a dialogue about the importance of open government and freedom of information. The next few questions deal with transparency and ethics reform. So this question: recently in the city of Oakland, as with many other cities across the state, the city charter was amended to provide the Public Ethics Commission greater independence, powers and responsibilities, broader enforcement authority, and a minimum budget for staff to enforce compliance with ethics-related laws and requirements. Would you support such a change for Sacramento that includes the creation of a strong ethics commission with greater independence and broader enforcement power? And the question first goes to Bruce.
Yes, I would support that. And I think it's very important that any discussions leading up to that, as opposed to what's going on in the city right now, be open to the public in terms of establishing an independent ethics commission. I think we have to have a discussion about large behests that are received by city council people for nonprofit activities. I think we have to have a policy about keeping our emails longer than 2 years, like we are currently doing. I think we move to a more citizen-friendly process in terms of involvement with the council, public testimony before the council as opposed to at the end of it, and longer time to testify from 3 to 5 minutes.
Thank you. Eric?
Thank you. Yes, I do support the Ethics Commission, and I was, appreciated the conversation of the League of Women Voters when they had their forum with Ion Sacramento at the Clooney Center. I thought it was very productive. The diversity in the audience showed exactly how much we need to look at this issue, and and I think that's going to be the key. We need to get everyone involved so that we have a commission that comes out that doesn't become politically taken over as well. The key there, I think, is independent. So I'm supportive of ethics reform. Disclosure is important. ensuring that we maintain vital city documents that the public can see, and being true to the spirit of the Public Records Act. I think those are big reforms that we need to take on. So I'm proud to be in those conversations and look forward to being more into with the League of Women Voters.
Well, thank you. Okay, digging a little deeper still on this issue of ethics and transparency. Since the defeat of Measure L last November, local advocacy groups have been pushing for a more transparent city government here in Sacramento. What is your stance on small ad hoc committees that meet in private and potentially circumvent the public meetings and record laws? Are they necessary in order to carry out city business? Why or why not? Eric?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think we need to stay true to the Public Records Act and the Brown Act. I mean, we have to ensure that the public feels that their government is working in good faith and in good trust. And I understand the flexibility needed to get things done, but we cannot jeopardize transparency for expediency. So, so I would want to make sure that every meeting that falls within the Brown Act, make sure that's posted and that there are minutes taken so that we can have that public trust with government.
Thank you. Bruce?
Well, I believe that it's absolutely essential that we do not have these private meetings that are not open to the public. The public policy process is supposed to be open to engage the public, to develop collaboration and input from the process from the public to improve public policy. We have a very active and engaged citizen and neighborhood constituency in Sacramento that needs to be part of the process when these key decisions are being developed. And I think it's extremely important that we open up our meeting process so the public can participate and improve the decisions that we make.
Thank you. And one last question in the area of ethics and transparency in government here in Sacramento. Recently, the 6th District Court of Appeal ruled that San Jose city officials could keep private any communication about city business that was sent through personal devices and personal accounts. This case is now before the California Supreme Court and therefore will have implications in other cities around the state. Should the Public Records Act apply to conversations about city business that occur through private accounts? What city communication, if any, should remain private from the public? Bruce?
Well, I think that every council person or public official that's conducting business in a public forum should have and use the city email system. Whenever you're discussing city business, there has to be a way of retrieving information at different points in time when it may be necessary to do it. And it's hard for me to imagine as a public official what communications would be withheld or private from the public. So I'm for a much more open process. I understand there's certain sets of negotiations that can be conducted in executive session, but I think these communications regarding regular city business should be open.
Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with Bruce on this one, that we need to ensure that the public business is being done through the public resources and making sure that all those emails are available, and and definitely keeping an archive of all those documents. I mean, we used to keep documents for over 7 years, and the only reason we archived them or got rid of old documents was we didn't have space. And I think right now our technology allows us to maintain that space. So I think we need to make sure that we're keeping an active track record of all of the public trust.
Thank you. Since we have a little more time, I will proceed with a few more questions. District 6 has demonstrated leadership in undertaking a relatively large solar energy project. Would you seek approval and implementation of similar renewable projects? If so, what type of projects and where? And Eric?
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is something that's really exciting in District 6. Having been involved with the Power in Alliance conversations and seeing out there the touring, the Army Depot, and the solar project, I think those are things that we have to push more. As chairman of the County Planning Commission, we approved a number of solar projects like this throughout the county. And it's, unfortunate that we haven't done it here in the city of Sacramento even more. That's why I'm endorsed by the Sierra Club, because I feel like we need to push our local engineers to look at other renewable type of issues, but more importantly, not just energy. I think water efficiency is kind of a big one right now that we need to tackle. So I think we've got to look at how do we, if more effectively, use our water in the city and challenge our own public works department to be a leader in that area. But yeah, it's an exciting project in District 6, and we should expand it to the city.
Thank you. Bruce?
I think solar energy is absolutely essential for our economy and for our quality of life and our environment. And I think it's very important that District 6 play a significant role in it, because we have a business corridor, the Power In Business Corridor, that will be a very effective site to locate and develop this resource. We're also going to have, adjacent to Sac State, an innovation center, the Sacramento Innovation Center. And we can use that to plan and take advantage of the resources we have in the Power In corridor to fully develop this solar power source and distribute it to the rest of the city.
Thank you. Some citizens are concerned that the recommendations by the Advisory Council in the last round of redistricting were ignored. Would you support an independent redistricting commission for the city? And why or why not? Bruce?
Well, yes, I would support an independent redistricting commission. And here's one of the reasons why. The City Council just recently moved the boundaries within the decennial 10-year period, a unique situation to move the UC Med Center out of District 6. And I think the process of reapportionment should be open to the public, with the engaged public having a chance to present maps and different approaches to how they want to see their district boundaries developed. That's one of the reasons I would support an independent redistricting commission. I think over time, you'd have a much fairer balance of representation in the related groups if you went that route.
Thank you. Eric?
Maybe it's because of my engineering training or whatnot, but I think the facts should drive the policy. And I was deeply involved in the original redistricting efforts when the City Council made a change that was contrary to the commission at the time. I support an independent redistricting commission full-heartedly, and to me, it's the fact that we gerrymandered communities. Colonial Heights, which is adjacent to Tahoe Park and Colonial Village and Manor, got cut out of that district. In the mid-year census, we made a change in District 6. To me, I think it's critical that we use the facts to draw district lines and get the politics out of redistricting. I'm proud to have been active and had the historical memory of drafting the letter for the Tahoe Park Neighborhood Association that opposed the mid-year change in District 6. So I support the Independent Redistricting Commission full-heartedly.
Thank you. And we have time for one quick last question. Given the current ongoing drought, which water use efficiency or conservation measures would you support and prioritize? Eric?
To me, I think it really comes down to the grass space. Yeah, we need to try to encourage the Cash for Grass program, and we're talking about the good kind of front yard grass program, because that's a major use of water source. I think we have to start thinking in what's going to happen in the next 10 years down the road. Today, the governor and the legislature were talking about major changes because we're in a serious condition. So I think we have to continue to have a public conversation about how critical and dire we are. I think, again, we need to look at using our human capital and our local engineers to find out more critical ways of saving and conserving water. But the biggest one is we could use is open watering space.
Thank you. Bruce?
Well, I also support the Cash for Grass program, but I think it's also important that we continue to develop and enhance our Water Ambassador program. If we make this a grassroots movement, I think we can be very successful in saving the amount of water that we need to save in order to make conservation goals. Just the fact that you get residents to start thinking directly about how they and are trained and given suggestions and ideas about how they can conserve water, having a bucket in the shower, capturing that water, and using it in other places in your house. So I think the best thing we can do is to continue to enhance this and make it a real grassroots movement and ethic in Sacramento.
Thank you. That concludes the question and answer portion of today's forum. We will now move to closing statements. Eric?
Okay, great. Again, I want to thank right now the League of Women Voters for this great opportunity. I think citizen engagement is critical. I'm glad we have an informed electorate. I'm running again for city council because I want to put neighborhoods first. That's what makes our city so great, is all these quality neighborhoods. We need to ensure that we protect our neighborhood parks and pools and community centers so that the youth have a great place to recreate. I want to use my experience and land use experience as chair of the County Planning Commission so we make smart land use decisions, because those decisions will impact our city for the next 50, 60, or even longer years. I want to use my experience as a trustee for the California State University to make sure that education is consistently a focal part of all of our city. But most importantly, also, going back to neighborhood services. I can't describe how critical it is that we look at code enforcement, that we look at blight abatement, we look at the issues that impact quality of life. I want to make sure that we look at an independent redistricting commission so we get the politics out of redistricting. This is an exciting opportunity to be part of Sacramento. I want Sacramento to be a great, vibrant place that neighbors can be proud of and a city that people want to come to. I've been honored to earn your vote, and again, thank you to the League of Women Voters for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Eric. Bruce?
I want to thank the League of Women Voters and the Cable Commission and the voters of District 6 for having this opportunity to talk to you tonight. I learned a very good lesson over my 20 years on the Los Rios Community College Board of Trustees. If you manage your resources correctly, you can do a lot of great things. In good times and bad times, if you save for periods of economic uncertainty. We did great things at Los Rios that I think translate to my ability to provide great service on the city council. We built child care centers. We have a reduced transit fee. We built great facilities like a performing arts center. All those things contributed to the community. We provided economic opportunity by providing training for jobs that were needed in the community and would be hired right away after a student got their education. How did we do that? We maintained stability in our district financially. We had an adequate reserve. We had a 3-year foolproof plan to avoid terrible cutbacks in the district during the Great Recession that started in 2008. I want to do the same thing with the city, bring sound financial management. We have a big debt load, and we have to be able to manage it in such a way that we can meet our obligations in good times and bad times, and that's why we should increase our reserve for economic uncertainties. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the League of Women Voters and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission, we would really like to thank both of you for participating in today's forum. I would also like to thank all the volunteers who have made this forum possible. This forum has been designed to impart information to you, the voter, in accordance with our belief that a democratic government depends upon the informed and active participation of its citizens. We hope that today's forum insights help you in your quest for information to cast an informed ballot. This forum will be rebroadcast each Sunday on Metro Cable Channel 14 until Election Day on April 7th. A repeat playback schedule is advertised on Metro Cable 14's bulletin board every day from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and can also be found on Metro Cable website at sacmetrocable.tv. The League of Women Voters is where hands-on work to safeguard democracy leads to civic improvement. Please, if you live in District 6, cast your vote on April 7th and help make this democracy work. Thank you.